the strangest job interview of my life. So, I'm in the middle of job hunting, right? You know the drill. Sending out resumes, tweaking my cover letter a million times, and hoping someone gets back to me. Most of my applications feel like they've fallen into the void. Then one day, I get this email from a company I don't even remember applying to. Let's call them Next Gen Innovations, and the subject line just says, "Interview opportunity, tomorrow, 10 a.m. I glance through my inbox, scratching my head. There's no prior email from them, and I'm pretty sure I didn't apply to this company. But at this point, I'm desperate. I've been living off instant noodles for weeks, and the rent isn't going to pay itself. So I say screw it and I book the interview. The next day, I'm standing outside their office building downtown, and immediately, things feel off. The place is towering and sleek, but it's in a part of the city where the buildings usually look like they've been standing for 100 years. There's no sign out front, just a metallic plate by the door that says Next Gen Innovations in minimalist lettering. No indication of what they do. I think about turning back, but then I remind myself, I'm broke, and this could be my ticket out of ramen prison. I push open the door, and the inside is just as odd as the outside. There's no receptionist, no artwork, no sign of life. Just silence, and this faint buzzing sound that seems to come from the walls. I stand there for a minute, awkwardly looking around, when a voice comes over the PA system. "Welcome, candidate 305. Please proceed to the elevator." I freeze. Candidate 305? I haven't even checked in with anyone yet. How do they know I'm here? I look around, but the lobby is still completely empty. No one's there. I call out, "Hello?" But no one responds. The voice over the speaker didn't sound mechanical either. It was calm, polite, and disturbingly human. At this point, every rational part of me is telling me to leave. But, against my better judgment, I walk over to the elevator. When I get close, the doors slide open automatically, and inside, it's just as weird. There are no buttons, none at all. The interior is all sleek chrome and glass, like something out of a sci-fi movie. I step inside, and the doors close behind me with a soft hiss. The elevator starts moving down, not up, down. I watch as the display above me shows the floors ticking by. First, it's normal, 1, 0, -1, -2, but then it keeps going. I'm sinking deeper and deeper underground. -10, -11, -12. Finally, the doors open with a soft chime, and I step into an all-white hallway. The stark contrast from the elevator is jarring. Everything here is pristine and cold, like I'm walking into a laboratory. At the end of the hallway, there's a single door with Interview Room 1 etched into it. Okay, I mutter to myself, this is getting really weird. I should probably leave, but something about the whole situation, how surreal it is, keeps me moving forward. It feels like I've stepped into some kind of high-tech, futuristic experiment. I push open the door, and inside, there's a man sitting behind a glass desk. He's the definition of corporate perfection. Perfectly pressed suit, not a hair out of place, and an unervingly symmetrical face. His skin has that porcelain sheen, and his eyes are a strange shade of light gray, almost like they've been artificially enhanced. "Good morning," he says, his voice unnaturally calm. "Please take a seat, candidate 305. I sit in this oddly designed chair across from him. The room is almost empty, except for his desk, a tablet, and a glass of water that looks like it hasn't been touched. There are no windows, no artwork, just this sterile, minimalist vibe. "Thanks for coming in on such short notice," he says, glancing down at the tablet in front of him. He swipes a few times, then looks up at me with a smile that's too perfect to be real. Yeah, sure. I wasn't sure what the position was exactly. The email didn't say much. I reply, trying to sound professional but clearly thrown off by the whole thing. The man's smile widens, but there's no warmth in it. "Of course, you're here to interview for the position of product liaison." "Right," I say slowly, "but I don't think I applied for that. What exactly does a product liaison do?" He leans back in his chair, folding his hands in his lap. At NextGen Innovations, we are revolutionizing human interaction by bridging the gap between the living and the deceased. I blink. What? We've developed groundbreaking technology that allows us to interact with the digital remnants of individuals who have passed away. He explains, his tone eerily calm. You would be working with these remnants, helping to maintain and manage the digital identities of our clients after death. I stare at him, waiting for the punchline, but he's completely serious. You mean like ghosts? I'm going to be working with ghosts. Not ghosts in the traditional sense, he replies smoothly. Think of them more as digital echoes, residual data that we've harnessed. Social media profiles, emails, text messages, all the information that's left behind. We've created a system that can simulate their presence in an ongoing capacity. You would be their point of contact for the living, ensuring that their digital identity remains active and engaging. I can't tell if I'm in some twisted episode of Black Mirror or if this guy's serious. So, I'd be maintaining dead people's Facebook profiles? That's the job. He gives a soft chuckle, but it feels calculated. In essence, yes, but it's much more complex than that. Our technology allows for deeper interaction. You'd be responding to messages, managing posts, even facilitating conversations between the deceased's digital self and their loved ones. It's a service for grieving families, a way for them to stay connected. I can't believe what I'm hearing. This has to be some kind of elaborate joke. And people pay for this? Oh yes, he says, nodding. It's a highly sought-after service. People crave connection even after death. Your role would be to ensure that connection remains appropriate. Appropriate, I echo. He steeples his fingers and leans forward. You must understand the digital remnant must be realistic but not too realistic. It has to maintain just the right balance, close enough to the real person to feel comforting, but distant enough to avoid discomfort. Too much interaction, and it becomes unsettling for the living. I sit there, dumbfounded. So I'd be what? Pretending to be someone's dead relative. In a sense, he says with a smile that sends a shiver down my spine. But think of it as curating their digital afterlife. At this point, I'm seriously debating whether to get up and walk out. The whole thing is so bizarre, so far removed from anything I've ever heard of, but there's something hypnotic about the way this guy talks. So, what kind of qualifications are you looking for? I ask mostly out of curiosity at this point. We require candidates who are comfortable navigating complex emotional situations and can manage digital platforms with ease. Empathy is key, as is maintaining emotional detachment. Emotional detachment? I ask, raising an eyebrow. Yes, he says, his tone serious now. It's important that you understand. These are not real people anymore. They are echoes, fragments of data. You must never forget that, or the emotional toll could be significant. The way he says it sends a chill down my spine. I nod slowly, unsure of how to respond. The man stands up, smoothing out his suit. Thank you for your time, Candidate 305. We'll be in touch shortly regarding the next steps. I think you'll find the opportunity quite rewarding. Before I can respond, the door behind me opens by itself, and I get the distinct feeling that the interview is over. I stand up, still processing everything, and walk out of the room in a daze. The elevator ride back up is even weirder. As I ascend, the floors tick by, and when I reach the ground floor, everything has changed. The once empty lobby is now bustling with people. Receptionists at the desk, employees walking around, the faint hum of chatter. It's like I've stepped into an entirely different world. I stumble out onto the street, the bright sunlight hitting me like a slap in the face. For a moment, I just stand there, trying to wrap my head around what just happened. Did I hallucinate the whole thing? Was it some kind of elaborate prank? But then, an hour later, I get an email from NextGen Innovations. They've thanked me for my time and informed me that I've been shortlisted for the final interview. Attached to the email is something that makes my blood run cold. A contract. Not for the job, but for my own digital afterlife. They want me to sign off on what happens to my digital self when I'm dead. I still haven't responded.